What's good, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Sessions. I'm your host, Sean Thompson, and today I do not have a big topic. Between Extra Life and everything else going on right now, I haven't had time to really come up with anything, so we're going to keep this week's episode short, and then next week we're going to have a little bit longer of an episode and go through probably we'll pick a more in-depth big topic and we'll really dig into it. I think Kristen's going to join me for that one. So this week I'm just going to talk about my top 3 comics of the past 2 weeks, because I also missed filming last week. And then we are going to talk about what I'm excited for next week. So without further ado, we will get into what's my top 3 this week. So my top 3 from the past 2 weeks were the plot number 2, because who doesn't love a good spooky Batman number 82, continuing that City of Bane storyline, and Tales from the Dark Multiverse, The Death of Superman. And we're going to start with the plot number 2, and we'll just run through it a bit. So, this picks up, basically in this one, we're getting flushed out with more character stuff. We're introduced to a new character, Reese. She's in, like, a holding cell, it looks like, or something like that. Someone just picked her up in the road. She's drenched. So she throws up some black stuff and she's freaking out. Then we cut over to the little boy that got dragged down into the swamp in the last one. He's getting pulled down and down and down, and someone reaches in. Then we flip back to Reese, who's in a hospital. And then the deputy's like talking to her, telling her that, what's his name? The guy from the last issue he's back. Then we flip back to the kid, and he's getting dragged out of the water now. And it turns out it's some terrifying ghost thingy saying Bane blood, as if it's trying to kill him, but it's also Reese that's actually standing there. Like the monster flips into Reese. It's cool. You have to kind of see it. And she's like trying to wake up the kid. She's doing CPR and stuff like that. She's doing CPR on him and stuff like that, and trying to bring him back. And eventually, everybody else shows up and they bring him back. The sheriff's kind of like, "You shouldn't be here. You were in the hospital. What's going on?" And she's like, "Lucky I was here. This kid would have drowned." Then we cut to a dinner scene with her and the uncle who's taking care of the kids. And there's kind of a fight and an argument that breaks out. And then the uncle's making lunch, and there's more ghost shit happening. Then we cut to school, and it looks like Reese is a teacher in one of the kids' classes, which is kind of interesting. There's a little more time. I guess it's small town stuff, so it kind of makes sense that they'd be... Are you trying to drink my station cold brew coffee? This isn't an ad.
I'm just trying to take a picture.
Okay. But so some of the kids are asking questions and stuff like that, and then there's a ghost in the school playground that nobody sees. Then we cut back to the uncle who's in the basement, looking at the water heater, and then he sees a wall that just got put up. He breaks it down. All this water comes crashing in, and he finds a fucking corpse, like upside down, growing out of, I assume, the swamp, kind of breaking in. It's really, really dark. And that's it. That's where we leave off. So we get this kind of... It's a more character development thing. There's tons of little ghosts in the background. It's very Haunting of Hill House. I keep saying that about this book, but it is very, very similar, I find, which is really cool. I love that show. So seeing stuff that kind of sort of relates to it and stuff like that is really cool. Or it doesn't relate to it, but it's similar to it, which is really, really cool. I really dug that. And that's basically the plot number 2. It's really good. Go check it out. Vault Comics is still killing it. All right, next we'll talk about Batman number 82. So last issue, Batman was just about to start his fight, like literal fight with Bane. So this one starts with them kind of getting ready. Bane goes, "No masks." Batman agrees. Then we cut to Thomas Wayne punching the ventriloquist and saying, "I require my boy." Then we cut back to Bane and Batman about to fight. Batman's like, "No help." They basically go through all this stuff where they strip down, because of course. Then they're about to start fighting. Bane takes off his pump because they're like, "No help." And Batman says Catwoman's not going to help him. Then we cut to Thomas walking across all the beating the crap out of bodies of all the Bat family, which is really cool little scene. There's no dialogue there. It's just a walk past. Then we get the fight with Bane and Batman just about to start, and Bane goes to throw his first punch, and Catwoman grabs him with the whip around his arm, and Bane starts freaking out. He's like, "You said no help." And Batman starts beating up. He's like, "Yeah, I lied." He throws some batarangs at him, hits him right in the face and right in the nipple. It looks like right in the right nipple. Right here, right about there. They keep fighting, and Catwoman's like, they have a little exchange as they're beating the crap out of Bane. It's basically Catwoman be like, "Well, you were being dumb, and you said, oh, he'd never take off his pump. Asking him to do it was just stupid." But that's literally all he did, and it was Catwoman's idea, so she's throwing it in his face. It's really fun. Bane gives this long thing about things always trying to drown him and him still being there, and then saying, "He's not done, you rich jackass," to Bruce, which is fun. I liked it. Then we get a cut back to Thomas, and he is in his version of the Batmobile, loading a gun as the ventriloquist drives. So we're getting the sense that something shitty is going to go down there. Catwoman jumps on Bane and starts clawing his face. Then she gets thrown into a wall really, really hard. Something cracks, which, never good. Then Bruce starts really pummeling Bane. And he's like, "I could kill you, but for what you did, I'll just break your damn back." Kind of falling back to Nightfall and stuff like that, which is it's a cool callback. But then he gets shot. He gets gut shot by fucking Thomas. And he's kind of freaking out. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then Bane gets shot in the head. And basically the last panel is Thomas saying, "We've come to the end, fetch the pirate," which I assume is Psycho Pirate. So he's going to brainwash some people. Some bad stuff's gonna happen. What a great setup issue. I love that it was just all action. Kind of breaks up some of the other issues and stuff like that. It's good to have that kind of ebb and flow. It makes for a good storyline. I dug all the art and stuff like that. It was great. I don't know, it's a Batman comic. I mean, what's not to like about it, So next, we will jump on over to my final comic that I'm going to talk about this week, and that is Tales from the Dark Multiverse, The Death of Superman. So basically, all the Tales from the Dark Multiverse books are reimagining classic storylines and what could have happened. So told kind of from a universal narrator, Tempest Fugnot, Fugnot. And yeah, this is the same guy who's also doing shit with Wally West and stuff like that. So you get these very multiversal things. So it starts with him kind of talking, and then we jump into the start of the the start of the Death of Superman storyline, which is basically Superman gets the crap beat out of him by Doomsday, and then he dies. But in this one, Lois goes fucking dark. She thinks all of the Justice League failed him. She kind of blames them. She gets really depressed. We kind of go through a whole bunch of panels of her being like, they were all fake. They defrauded this. They weren't there for you. All this stuff. There's a couple pages of that, and it's really sad, but you get into the headspace of where Lois is at during this. Then she goes to the Fortress of Solitude, and she's kind of sad there with Clark's torn up blanket, which was his cape, and then the Eradicator comes back. but he was too late, and he was trying to save. Kal-El took him up to the sun to have him bask in it for it. It's exactly the story, but he was too. It's the death of Superman story, but he was too late. I'm going through that very, very long. I'm sorry. But then he's like, it can't end like this. It can't hold this form. There must be a Kryptonian, and Lois goes, use me. So he imbues her with all the powers, basically, that Superman had, except she gets a dope black suit with this bleeding-looking Superman symbol on it and the torn-up cape. She looks fucking badass. But she goes hella dark, and she starts killing people who Clark never would have, and she kind of blames him and stuff like that. And then she goes and sees Lex, and he's like, she confronts him about having killed Superman and stuff like that. And he admits, but he's like, you'll never catch me, kind of thing. But then she grabs him by the throat, and she just flies real fast straight up with a stranglehold on him, and he burns up into just a skull. It's fucking dark. She kills Joker, then she kills Batman, because of course she kills Batman. And she feels bad, and then she kind of is like, she tries to kill Cyborg Superman, but he seems a little too strong, and all the other super people come to help, so that's Superboy and Steel. Then Superboy dies. And then Steel dies. And then Lois keeps trying to kill Cyborg Superman. There's a big fight scene. And then Superman's back. And he's trying to save people. And there's something wrong with him and Lois and stuff like that. And then we jump back to Cyborg Superman saying, how many people do you get to kill twice? And Lois flies straight at him, he's holding a kryptonite fucking cannon thing. But she flies straight through it and blows it up. And then she kills him. She kills Superman. Because all the gas, the kryptonite gas, goes everywhere. And it's this big story of like, don't let power corrupt you kind of thing. I don't know. It was cool. But yeah. She becomes the Eradicator. Which is really cool. But it's another... I don't know. It's hard to... It's the death of Superman storyline, but slightly different and darker. But I like these fresh... Bless you. Jeez. Sorry. It's okay. But I like these fresh takes on these classic storylines that we know what happens in the death of Superman. Superman comes back, and he's not actually dead. And they tried to do it in the Justice League movie, but did it very, very poorly because we didn't get attached to any of the characters. But it's taking a fresh take on it, taking it and spinning it in a little dark way, changing one little thing that shows how much it can change, and that just shows the strength of the dark multiverse kind of thing. But yeah, that was Tales from the Dark Multiverse, The Death of Superman, and it was super good too. Next, we're going to get into what I'm excited for next week. Alright, so let's get into what I'm excited for next week. So I think I'm just getting 4 books. It'll end up being more than that, because without a doubt, I will buy something else just on impulse. I'll go, oh, that looks cool. I forgot about that. But the 4 that I am looking forward to as of recording and stuff like that are Batman's Grave #2, which follows up on that really cool like detective story Batman thing that I dug issue 1 of. Flash #82, which again just furthers the Flash story, kind of the same as Batman, which Flash has been super cool. Some dark shit happened to Barry before, so we'll see what goes on there. X-Men #2, so hopefully we get to see more of Scott, aka Cyclops, doing some leadery stuff and stuff like that. That'll be cool. And Family Tree, which is it's a weird little book. It's by Jeff Lemire, and it's coming out from Image Comics, which Image is kind of always a great read. But basically, the idea is this girl gets, I'm going to call it a disease for now, where she starts becoming a tree. Real weird concept there, but her family kind of goes on this road trip to try and find a cure before time runs out. and they get into all sorts of shenanigans with cults and cults, mercenaries, and tabloids who all want to exploit her for their own gain. It seems really, really cool. It's got such a weird concept that I'm in. I'm sold. All the weird things I will buy. And that's basically it. I don't know. There'll probably be other stuff that I see next week that I'll grab, but those are the 4 that really I'm excited. I'm really excited to read those. And yeah, that's all that. I'm sorry that this week's episode is a little shorter than normal. Maybe it's good for you guys. Let me know if you actually like shorter episodes, because I can always transfer into that a little more and stuff like that. So let me know in the comments. But yeah, I will see you next week. It'll be a longer one. I think I know what topic I want to do already. I just haven't had time to prep for it this week. But next week, get ready. It's going to be a good one. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want to see more from me, Sean Thompson, talking about comics and stuff like that. And don't forget to leave a comment down below. Thanks so much.